Hey everyone, Joe here. I'm on Sunday this week because Keenan and I traded. And this week's topic on Genderqueer Chat is how prevalent is stone or asexuality in the genderqueer community? And how does being genderqueer affect your sexuality? And the first part of that question, I don't know the answer to because I don't know that I'm really part of a genderqueer community other than this YouTube one. Or if I am part of the community, I'm part of the community in the bubble, in the cloud. I'm not part of a genderqueer community in my town. Now, oddly enough, just today I was looking up just genderqueer resources online in the local area, like what kinds of things they have, and they're very trans-oriented, which is fine, but it kind of flashes back to last week's video, which are we under the trans umbrella, and would I feel comfortable going to a trans-oriented event? I don't know. So whatever. It's not huge in my life, other than it's what I am. But I don't seek out other people who are genderqueer. I guess I seek out people who understand that I am genderqueer. But you don't have to be genderqueer to understand that I am genderqueer. So as for the community in like the local community, I don't know anybody, and I don't know that. Even if I did know that they were genderqueer, you know, it's none of my business what their sex life is like, so I don't know that I'd be even asking those questions. Hi, Eli. So, short answer, I don't know the answer to that question. I presumed, I think, that a lot of genderqueer people were asexual. I don't know why I presumed that, possibly because I myself identify on the spectrum towards the asexual side. I guess I presume that people who don't fit into a gender binary not have a harder time finding partners, but have a harder time being comfortable with partners who are attracted to a specific gender. And, you know, if you may not fall into that gender, I don't know. Maybe that's just a presumption of mine. How does being genderqueer affect my sexuality? Good question. Very good question. I think probably more than I realize. I have been celibate and single for 10 years, roughly, with some little minor blips in there, like one-nighter type things, but I haven't had a boyfriend in 10 years, and I don't want one. I don't crave a relationship. I also hate the word relationship, because I have relationships with everybody, every single person that I have a contact with, I have a relationship of sorts with. I guess they mean an intimate sexual relationship or an intimate relationship. I don't want that. I don't need that. It doesn't interest me. In fact, it would probably cramp my style. I often think about having a boyfriend that might like to travel a lot and I could split expenses with. Sleep in the same bed with, because that's sometimes awkward with female friends. I'm just thinking about, like, when I like to travel on the cheap in a van or in a tent. And the thing is, when you're in a tent with somebody, you have to be able to fart, you know, you have to be able to be yourself around a person in close quarters. So you're going to need an intimate person to travel with. And I've often thought that would be my perfect boyfriend, you know, just somebody to travel with and have the same things in common and share expenses with. Now, that's not sex. That's nothing even remotely like sex, right? So sex is like so secondary, if not tertiary, if not even on that map at all. So, I don't need sex. I don't particularly want sex. Now, does that make me asexual? I don't know. I have a sex drive on occasion. It seems to be hormonal. In my years of kind of looking back on when it's peaked, it's usually been when I've been off the pill, or definitely hormonal related when I switched pills or whatever. When I was on Depo-Provera, I had no sex drive at all. That's that injection. And then since I've been on Seasonal, it's been pretty much tempered, except for some, like I said, some minor blips. I like that. I don't wish I had a sex drive, just like I don't wish I had a boyfriend. How does this, is it my genderqueerdom that makes me this way? I would say probably yes. I would have to say that the boyfriends that I previously had, well, let me just say this. I stopped shaving when I was 18, and my last boyfriend I had when I was 28. So for 10 years, you know, I did have boyfriends that saw me as I was, which is a hairy armpitted, tattooed, kind of, you know, androgynous sort. I guess the word is genderqueer, but at the time I didn't know it. I'd always been a little not like other girls. I don't look like girls. I don't act like, I don't behave like a girl in bed, I suppose, whatever that might mean. But I'm not, like somebody earlier in the week was talking about stone, the definition of stone, and I didn't know that's to be on the giving end instead of the receiving end of sexual pleasure. And that is not me at all. In fact, if anything, it's funny because I was raised Catholic and we were always taught that we were just the receptacle for a man's pleasure, in that fucked up version of the religion that I was raised in. I had, I guess, my early years when I first became sexually active, I don't ever remember orgasming. It was always about him. I remember it was always about like a hand job or something. It was about the guy. And later in life, when I had a series of older boyfriends who actually really enjoyed Eli. I had a series of older boyfriends who really enjoyed having a woman enjoy herself in bed. That I sort of came into my own and realized, like, a lot of guys like that. They like for me to be happy. I'm not, or for me to be pleased or whatever. Gratified, I guess was the word Callie used. So I'm not going to deprive them of that. I'm also not going to just lay there and pretend to be enjoying it if I'm not enjoying it. It's got to be authentic. So I better be enjoying it. If I'm not participating. So I'm very much on the receiving end of the pleasure. I don't necessarily like giving because I think it, I mean, if it's just giving, because I feel like a tool. And that's not interesting to me at all. That's not who I am. So I guess I'm the opposite of stone. I'm really the opposite of stone. Older boyfriends that I had kind of opened my eyes to the fact that a lot of men are really kind of worship the female body. That I think when I had younger boyfriends my own age, when I was in my early 20s or late teens or whatever, it was more about the way things looked, I guess. Older men seem to just appreciate a female form, whatever that might be, fatter, skinny, you know, not perfect, hairier. That always kind of gave me a cheap thrill because I didn't have to feel like I was perfect. They made me feel like I was perfect in a sense, but they didn't, it was not about the way I looked. There was a combination of the way I felt, the way we felt. You know, there's a lot of sensations that go on during sex that have nothing to do with the way you look. And I always appreciated that a lot because I'm so not into the way things look. I don't care. I think that's partially what's wrong with society today. And I think we touched on this in a previous set of videos, which was the Sex in Western Society one, the pornographization of society. And I really dislike how you're supposed to look a certain way and things are supposed to look a certain way to be sexually appealing. And I understand there's a wide range of what's appealing, but it just, you know, in modern culture and day, there are very few variations on that theme. You know, guys have to look a certain way, women have to look a certain way. And in both cases, these days, they're fairly hairless, which I find very weird. I recently came across some vintage porn. A friend of mine has a book that's just all vintage porn postcards. And we were kind of laughing because it's funny. It's shocking to the eye, you know, to see that when you're so bombarded with just these hairless bodies, these hairless plastic bodies. But, you know, vintage porn where people are like really, really hairy head to toe. Like that, some people are like that. And it was quite awesome to see. I got a kick out of the reality. I like reality, and I like. Sometimes I think maybe the reason I lean asexual is because nothing in this culture turns me on. It's all plastic and phony. I think, or I'm not running in the right circles. Perhaps is the problem. You know, where if I were to run with people who kind of were turned on by the same things I was, it might be different. I don't pursue it. The closest thing, I often call myself a hippie, but I'm not really a hippie because I don't do drugs, and I hate the drug culture, and I hate the kind of passive, flaky, not working kind of anarchist culture. I'm a working bee. I like government, but I don't like corporate culture, you know. So I have hung around with hippies in my lifetime, and they're not exactly sexually appealing to me either. That's not to paint everybody with the same brush, but you know what I mean. I did volunteer work in New Orleans where we gutted houses and stuff after Katrina. And I met a lot of guys who I really kind of had the hots for intellectually. I had, Callie used the word in the video just earlier. It was squish, or there's a word for it, kind of having a crush on someone, but it's not a sexual crush. I'm very turned on by people who have kind of a soul and a... Come on, honey. Stanley's quiet today, but Eli's noisy. Come on, honey. I'm turned on by people who have, you know, a sense of social justice and that sort of thing. And usually people who are like that have a different attitude towards the body as well. They tend to treat their bodies, and this is just me, you know, in my own experience and from what I've gathered. People who kind of run in those circles tend not to plasticize the human body, you know, or find things like Megan Fox a turn on. You know, they tend to find people like, I don't know, well, like Rachel Maddow. Like they find, you know, they have crushes on people like Anderson Cooper or whatever. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So I think I lean asexual insofar as I don't care for or I don't pursue sexual relationships. When they come my way, and they have come my way on occasion, it depends if that's what I'm in the mood for or if it's going to cause problems. I'm not really into problems. I'm not into hooking up with people if it's just going to be, you know, drama. I don't like drama. I don't have a sex drive that's so highly pumped that I'm willing to make, you know, take whatever comes up. Jeez Louise. You know, such that I'm willing to take the drama that comes along with, you know, hookups or relationships. I'm not. It's got to be extremely, for me to even go there, it's got to be worth it. And at this point in my life, not much is really worth it. I really, you know, it's, and I think that does set me apart. I think also I'm very realistic about the fact that guys are not, and I'm attracted to men, so that's why I'm talking about guys. Guys are not attracted to me. They really aren't. I haven't been hit on in years and years and years. And that's okay. I'm not complaining. It's just strange because I was hit on in my younger years. And since I kind of came into my own and since I became the person that I am today, and I like being this person, I've noticed men are not really attracted to that. And quite recently, actually, a guy at work said something very funny. I was saying something about getting my truck driver's license, and he said, you know, guys aren't turned on by women with truck driver's licenses. Or he said, it wasn't directed at me, but he said, you know, it's cool that you did that, but that's not like a selling feature on, you know, for a boyfriend. And I was howling, and I thought, wow, you're really trapped in the gender binary, like as if that has anything to do with gender at all. But he, you know, whatever, that's what he believed to be true. And I think, I don't know that I can tie this video up neatly because Eli's screeching and I have to go scoop the litter and all that. But okay, so catch you guys next week. Have a good week. See you on Friday next week, hopefully. Bye-bye.